Hey Aries, it's Scorpio season. It's November and welcome to your reading. All information to work with me one-on-one is below. I just updated my calendar if you'd like to book a reading with me. All information that is below, or you can email me as well to if you're wondering how it works and what is in it for you. You can also add on astrology or Reiki. You can take a look at that on my Instagram. I'll link my Instagram below as well too for the future. And the Patreon extended link so that we take this reading and we go even deeper into the astrology, into even the body parts if they present themselves, and the more that we don't get to in this part of the reading. First cards out are Queen of Cups and the 10 of Pentacles. So a part of you is, whether you're realizing it now or it's being brought to your attention now, is a little too high. Okay. Is longevity. You're also realizing how that relates to emotional stability, perhaps, for some, and that how those correlate and go hand in hand on wanting to build a future, the future maybe that you desire as well. So what you can be sure of this month is that you will be given opportunities to grow in this way. As the North Node transits through your sign, if your sun or rising is Aries, these are the steps that you'll have to take. This is the time you'll have to take with yourself to give yourself the proper tools, the plan. So we know Mars signs like Scorpio and Aries to be impulsive, but they're not the only impulsive signs, and you're in these two months can be very impulsive. You can, of course, distract yourself enough, maybe with sex, maybe with holiday parties, maybe with relationships, but ultimately you're always going to your mind is really looking for this. So if you felt distracted or felt tempted, especially in thought, as Mercury transits Scorpio as well, anything like that sort, especially if it's on the surface level and it's nothing deeper, is only there to it's just disrupting you at this time from your real freedom. Your real freedom is this taking the time to root your plan, to take risks, especially while Mars is in Scorpio, in ways that make sense for your plan. It doesn't have to be like, oh, I'm just gonna be risque. No, it's Mars and Scorpio. It's not Mars and Aries. It's Mars and Scorpio, where this is best laid out through chess. This is best laid out through, if you want to look at it as a game that has steps, a game that needs a little bit of a plan here, because you know what? That's going to give you more emotional stability, and that's what's actually going to give you the beneficial consequences this month. And it's important that in moments where you need to speak up for yourself, you do. That's also the freedom. That's the emotional freedom. That's the ability to be honest with yourself and honest with the people around you. Because one thing people don't really know about Aries, unless they really have an Aries in their life, is that there are times where you feel so free to speak how you feel and what you need and all of these things. But there are times where you get in this place where, when you're maturing maybe, or when you're feeling vulnerable, in a time where it doesn't feel natural for you to reach out, that's normally when you need to, because that's where the growth is for you. You don't need to do this all by yourself anymore. And in fact, that's what all these Venusian placements are bringing to the table for you, that you can take a look out there. You can explore your mind. You can explore your life. You can explore you might have moments where you reflect this month about what has happened, what has passed, what has gotten you to the place that you are now, where you're working through maybe some internal changes, some maybe even frustrations or irritations. You and Libra may be feeling this. I know Libras are. Because of especially the eclipses that in the transits that have started. Most importantly, though, it's when you get in this place where I said before, where you're not asking for help and you're maturing in a way where you want to do things on your own, or you're maturing in a certain area, or you're growing in a certain area where you just want to do it on your own. You just don't want that moment, that in-between moment. You want to deal with it. And that's an internal thing for some of you. So this month bringing you first externally, and then we just go right into the internal this month, into realizing that if you don't speak up sometimes, you're blocking whatever's supposed to be coming to you to come to you, because sometimes the actual lesson is to say what you mean, say how you feel, say what you want, ask for what you want. You can't always control, of course, how people are feeling. That's one thing you can't ask for. You can't ask for people to not feel, but you can ask them to learn to cope with it. So if there's someone in your life that you find yourself working diligently on yourself, perhaps, and it's possible that some of your relationships will be cast aside at this time, because you're in a place where this is a part of the plan is following through, and some people aren't used to that coming from you all the time. But this is where you're at right now. You are, and by the end of the month, you'll maybe have this reflection period where you can surely say that you did what you had to do this month. You grew, there was some discomfort. Maybe people wanted to bring you into fights or fire you up in some way, but you realize, hopefully you have this, you can set an intention or commit to having this time where if you feel like you're being brought into a mood or an emotion that you didn't give permission to, it was just provoked, or if it was a trigger, you're finding ways to cope with it on the spot. And it's not about not wanting to show weakness, Aries. It's more about how you're learning to control this part of you that knows that if you waste your energy on this, for some people it ignites some stuff in them, but if you waste your energy here, then you won't have enough to utilize here. That's what Scorpio season is all about. Sagittarius season is about keeping that going and still finding and having more external experiences and having experiences outside of yourself more, where Scorpio season is you can be invited out, but there's still going to be this air of mystery. There may be a lot more sarcasm. There may be this thoughtful yet can be provoking twist in Scorpio season. So you go through this season with this series of, okay, we start off with these very prominent cards all facing the 10 of Pentacles, where that's where you want to invest your time. Scorpio season, investing your time and your energy. Some invest it in fuck shit for sure, but some invest their time and energy into their future, into what's important to them, into what is necessary now. So wherever you find yourself, this is where you correlate with Libra as well, is when you find yourself in a time where it feels both scary and exciting, mostly exciting, a little nerve-wracking, like you're about to go on stage for the first time, you're about to perform something you really care about and you put your energy into, or you put so much thought into it for the first time, or for the second time, or for whatever time, you just have those feelings. You have this feeling of like, this is what's next. It doesn't have to be forever. this is what's next and this is what you're initiating, but you need to use your voice. Towards the middle part of the month, you may need to let some people know where you're at, but you may need to ask for help, right? Especially if you get too lost in thought, because Aries, you're not supposed to get too lost in thought. You can, of course, you can explore that, but you'll need some motion after, you'll need some action after, and acting on what's going on in your brain as soon as possible will get you from this Eight of Swords energy into the Eight of Pentacles, right? It's just about, if you're thinking about doing a project, just start it. No one said you have to finish tomorrow. No one says you have to finish by the end of the year. Don't give yourself a deadline unless it is in the next set of eclipses. Maybe between April and next October, you give yourself a deadline. You can do it in between that space, right? If you're wanting a deadline for this specific project, and I think a lot of you are, you're reflecting and realizing that you can utilize your energy in a way and invest your time yet still have fun, and you're learning to balance these moments. You may need some time in nature and in your natural state. You need to blow off some steam, but how can you do that in a way that is productive for you and doesn't set you back, doesn't take away your energy for a couple of days? So if you're thinking of doing a weekend, balance it with some good times, maybe some, doing a little party, whatever, but then you balance it with maybe a massage or a nice hike or a time of quiet contemplation. You may want more of that as you focus, because I see you very focused right now. You're focused on the year to come. You're focused on whatever is igniting you from the North Node, whatever is driving this purpose. You find it this month. You find maybe not it exactly, but you find something that keeps the motivation going. And it may evolve, but you are onto something now. And you may find yourself engaging with that part of you that may feel a little low. But remembering that brings you a piece of yourself every time. That brings something hidden to the forefront, where by the end of the month, you have another level of what energy looks like, both physically, mentally, and emotionally. There's this other layer, and we'll get more into the next part, that comes from utilizing your voice and your body, your connective tissue, in a way that is cohesive. All right, Aries, we'll see you in the next part. Very exciting.